This is the circuit diagram for class B commutation. The connections will be made as per the diagram given. Supply terminal to anode of T1. From rheostat to cathode of T1. Other end of the rheostat to negative of the power supply. From anode of T1 to LC circuit. First L1 is selected and C1 is also connected in series with L1. Other end of C1 is connected to cathode of T1.
Gate to cathode.
Gate pulse. Gate to gate of T1. Cathode of T1 to cathode of T1 terminal here. CRO probe is connected across rheostat. Class B commutation is also called as LC commutation. Another name for LC commutation is a resonant pulse commutation. It is a forced commutation technique to turn off SCR. Here, a gradual resonant current in the reverse direction is built up, which is from cathode to anode to turn off the thyristor. L and C connected in series, they form a resonant circuit. This resonant circuit itself is used to turn off the thyristor. R is a resistance that is used as a rheostat when we conduct the experiment. This is the supply voltage. This is a commutation unit. As shown in the circuit diagram, we have L and C. They are connected in series. L is divided into three different parts. By varying the different values of L, total L is divided as L1, L2 and L3. In steps, L1, L2 and L3 are connected in series with C, and using a multimeter, load voltage is noted. In this case, since there is only one thyristor, effect of variation in duty cycle cannot be noticed, and so only the frequency is varied, keeping the duty cycle constant. Supply is turned on. The triggering pulses are also turned on to thyristor T1. Gate pulses are given to gate terminal of T1. Cathode is connected to cathode of T1. Now frequency is minimum, duty cycle is kept constant. In this position, this is how the load voltage is obtained. Thyristor is on only for a short duration. This represents T1, which is shown in this diagram, T1. T2 is the duration of time where the SCR turns off. Now when the frequency is varied, this is the medium frequency range. Frequency is increased. Turn off time has also increased. T3 is increased. This is the maximum value of frequency. T3 is again increased. Again I will decrease the frequency. With variation in frequency, changes in the time instants can be observed. T on and T off can be determined using T on equal to T1 plus T2 by 2, T off is equal to T3 plus T2 by 2. Duty cycle is calculated using T on by T off. Right now, L1 is connected in the network. Now, L1 is changed to position L2. Triggering pulses are again started for T1. T1, T2, T3 can be noted. Again 3 different readings with different values of frequencies. Can be noted. For all different values of inductance, load voltage is also noted down. Similarly, now L3 is connected in series with the capacitor. Again the frequency is changed, waveforms are observed and load voltage is noted down. Connections to class D commutation. T1 is used as a main thyristor. T2 is used as an auxiliary thyristor. Positive of the supply to anode of T1. Cathode of T1 to rheostat. Another end of the rheostat to negative of the supply. According to the circuit diagram, connections for the outer circle is completed. Cathode of T1 and cathode of T2 are shorted. Cathode of T2 to anode of diode D. Cathode of D and L inductance are connected in series. Another end of L is connected to anode of T2. From anode of T2 to C1 and from another terminal of C1 to anode of T1, which is the main thyristor. Now the gate pulses are given to both T1 and T2, gate to gate and cathode to cathode. This is for T1 and now for T2, T2 to cathode of T2 and gate also are connected. CRO probe is connected across the terminals of rheostat. Commutation is the process of turning off of a thyristor, and it normally ceases the flow of current through a thyristor. This is a circuit of class D commutation that consists of two thyristors, a capacitor, a diode, and the load is connected at the end. Class D commutation is a method to turn off a thyristor in a DC circuit by the application of sudden reverse voltage across the terminals of SCR. It is also called as impulse commutation. This is the commutation unit. T1, T2, C1 and C2. Out of these C1 and C2, any one of the capacitors can be used, and that is connected with T1 and T2 as shown in the circuit diagram. This is the power supply. The connection has gone to C1. From C1, the connection has gone to T1. Another end of the T1 is connected to rheostat. From rheostat, again back to T2 also. So the connections are done as per the circuit diagram shown here. The commutation unit has an inbuilt firing unit. The firing circuit is used to give gate pulses to SCRs T1 and T2. Here is a gate terminal and this is the cathode. Gate is connected to gate of T1 and T1 cathode is connected to cathode of T1. Similarly, gate is connected to gate of T2 and T2 cathode is connected to cathode of T2. This is a button used to give to turn on the triggering pulses. Unless we turn this on, no triggering pulses will be given to T1 and T2. To measure turn on and turn off time, the firing circuit is used. There are two parts in the conduction process. First part, keep the frequency constant, vary the duty cycle and note down the load voltage using digital multimeter. In the second part, keep the duty cycle constant, vary the frequency and note down the load voltage. Turn on the supply. Turn on the triggering pulses. You can see the waveforms. This is nothing but the load voltage that is being observed here. This load voltage can be explained with different time instants. The straight part which we can see here, this is the maximum load voltage. This is a surge at this point. The commutation process has started. Once the commutation process starts, load voltage starts decreasing and it comes to 0. The same can be explained theoretically. VL is the load voltage. This portion is T1 and from here this small portion is T2, during which the thyristor is turned off. T3 is again where the thyristor is turned off, and at the end of T3 again the process to turn on the SCR is started. T on is calculated using the formula T1 plus T2 by 2 and T off is calculated as T3 plus T2 by 2. T2 by 2 is used in case of both T on and T off. Here exact value of T2 cannot be determined correctly. Because of this reason, T2 by 2 is included in both T on and T off. Now I will keep duty cycle constant. I will start varying the frequency. This is at minimum position and we have noticed the corresponding waveforms. This frequency, I will keep it at the center. I will assume that this is the medium range of frequency and I will notice the variation in the waveforms. So frequency is varied. The variation in frequency can also be observed. And the load voltage is 8.54 volts. Next, without making any changes in duty cycle, I will increase the frequency. I will bring it to maximum. So this is the maximum frequency. We can notice the variation in T3 especially. I will bring this, after noting down the load voltage, I will bring this back to minimum position. Now I will keep this constant and I will start varying the duty cycle. Right now this is in minimum position. I am changing the duty cycle. When I change the duty cycle, there is no change in the frequency. T on and T off can be changed. Now the duty cycle is kept in the medium position by keeping the frequency in minimum. As I still increase the duty cycle, this is the maximum duty cycle. T2 and T3 cannot be obtained clearly. So similarly, when we vary frequency, we noted the output load voltage. Now also we will note down the voltage. So when I vary the duty cycle, for all the three cases, load voltage can be noted down.